All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, my beautiful, abundant healers. So it's such a beautiful day here in New York City. We just got over our polar vortex, and now it's almost 60 degrees outside. So it's gorgeous. It feels like spring in the middle of February, but I am not complaining. I am so happy and excited to have you here today. We are going to be talking about 5 steps to master soulful brand messaging. I am super excited because we are kicking off. We are launching this next 90-day launch cycle as a promotional cycle for my online course, The Abundant Healer, 90 Days to Scale Your Practice Online. And I'm going to be telling you a lot more about that. But the best thing about a promotional launch is that this is an opportunity for you to get a ton of content-rich free stuff thrown at you. So you definitely want to make sure that you stay tuned to the Facebook feed, to the YouTube feed, to wherever it is you may be watching me right now, because over the next 5 weeks, I'm going to be giving you some tremendous content so that you can start building out some soulful brand messaging. Now, whether you know you are struggling with creating soulful brand messaging, or you think that you have crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's, most practitioners are missing crucial pieces in their marketing that would allow them to clearly communicate straight to their soul clients. And the worst part is they usually don't realize it. And that's because therapists, coaches, and healers, they're not trained to think like marketers. It's just not where our head and our heart is usually at. Therapists, coaches, and healers are trained to do sensitive, private work behind closed doors, not to boast about their accomplishments and try to draw attention to themselves. Am I right? And so as a result, they often assume kind of an attitude of overwhelm at best, or even revulsion or condescension at worst about the world of marketing and online promotion. And unfortunately, that's a bit like cutting off your nose just to spite your face. Because therapists, coaches, and healers often have no idea how much they don't know. So they tend to devalue the importance of things like brand messaging, and they try to string together freebie trainings, or they just copy somebody else's website as a way to piecemeal a marketing strategy together, and then they expect that to work within 48 hours. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you that doesn't work. And so after they've tried and failed is usually when they're more willing to do a little bit of research and find out about what it means to become business savvy. And that is an absolutely wonderful and fabulous step. But then when they get a whiff of how much they truly don't know, then all those fears and scarcity attitudes kind of lock them in a death grip, and then they start treading water. So today's video is really about figuring out where you are in all of this. And I want you to tell me. So as a therapist, coach, and healer, do you ever feel as though you are struggling to stand out in your field? That you have a lot of good ideas, but when it comes down to it, it's nearly impossible to focus on just one thing and bring it to fruition. And then you may be left feeling kind of directionless and down on yourself, not knowing how to pinpoint or express what truly makes you unique in a seemingly saturated market. So you might think to yourself, I know I've got a good thing going. I just don't know how to focus and get people to pay attention. On the other hand, you might have a thriving practice and you know what you want to do and you know how you want to do it, but you just cannot figure out how to break through that one-to-one business model and expand your influence, and let's be honest, your bank account to its full earning potential. The thing is, I know exactly how that feels. I have never struggled with ideas, and I've always felt very confident in my creative abilities. Doing the work was never really a problem for me either, but honing in on my unique voice and finding a consistent rhythm with my marketing and my digital platform has always been a sore point for me. I just could not figure out where, when, and how to begin. But once I finally surrendered to this idea that I might have to go back to the drawing board and start from scratch with my branding and with my messaging, that is when my voice became 1,000 times clearer and my mission was a much more focused. So in cleaning up my messaging, I was able to refine how I intended to sell my services and my packages, what it was that I was actually offering people, and who I really wanted to offer it to. And so once I did that, the client's cash flow and freedom that came along with it, and it started showing up. And more specifically, it showed up in the form of making $10,000 in online revenue per month. But it also came from being in alignment with what really lights me on fire and doing what I love to do full time, which for me includes sharing my talents and skill sets online through passive income funnels and self-directed courses, as well as hosting live online group coaching programs. Now, the Abundant Healer 90 Days to Scale Your Practice Online is actually a hybrid of both of those things, and you are going to learn more about that if you stick with me through this promotional launch series. So let's get back to today's activity. So in this 5-part video series, 5 Steps to Master Soulful Brand Messaging, you are going to learn 8 questions to assess your brand messaging. We're going to go over that today. You're going to learn 4 angles to help write your own heartfelt about me story and identify your why. So much more important than your what or your how. You're going to look at 3 steps to identifying your heartfelt brand mission, values, and beliefs. You're going to learn how to cultivate your hook and help you stand out in your niche. We're also going to craft a client avatar that speaks to your soul clients' specific pain and pleasure points. And so you're going to walk away with a brand new about me story for your website that clearly spells out your why. You're going to have a clear and focused mission statement and an elevator pitch for your brand and for your services. You're also going to clearly understand what your services are and how you'd like to offer them. You're also going to have a powerful hook and what I call a truth bomb that is going to position you in your market. And you will have a soulful sales script that has your ideal clients reaching for their wallets and just fist pumping with a resounding yes. Oh, yes, you are. And so I invite you to check out the caption of this video for the specific curriculum. We are going to be doing it every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from now until March 5th. And so if you would like to also receive notifications for when I'm going to be going live, you can also opt into my messenger bot in the caption of this video. Now, I want to dive into our content for today, and that is 8 questions to assess the quality of your brand messaging. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, truly, is this video series really going to be worth my time? And so that's why today we're going to start off with these questions, because it's intended to help you evaluate your brand and how you are communicating your brand mission and values. And this kind of assessment process is exactly how potential clients experience your brand messaging when they arrive at your online platform, really within seconds of taking a look at your page. Okay, so here's the first question. Do you have a clearly identified client avatar? Now, social proof is one of the biggest selling points out there, but what's more important than having 1,000,001 testimonials to prove that your content is good is being able to tell one story that everyone can relate to. In fact, researchers have found that donors are more likely to donate to charitable organizations when they've seen a presentation of only 1 case study as opposed to 3. So the purpose of a client avatar is to help you hone in on your soul client's what I call archetypal story. It's one narrative that will appeal to the heart of your niche. It also forces you to get crystal clear on who it is you want to serve most, at least at first. So for example, I want to help women struggling with depression and anxiety. No. That is not a client avatar, and it is far too vague. Women struggling with, let's say, adulting between the ages of 18 and 30 have very different problems than a woman struggling with empty nest syndrome or an extramarital affair or a career plateau at 45 to 50 years of age. Okay, so if you're just like, I just want to work with this population between this age group and depression and anxiety, no, not going to work. Okay, so the second question is, do you have clearly defined struggles and obstacles to overcoming those struggles for your client avatar? Now, a lot of therapists, coaches, and healers are way too vague when it comes to identifying the struggles of their clients and their obstacles to overcoming them. So do you struggle with depression, anxiety? Are you feeling stuck? Now, the problem with vague struggles like these is that oftentimes people have no idea if that is what you would call what they're dealing with or not, especially if they have stigma wrapped up in it. So you want to show them what, let's say, depression looks like in the morning. What about when the kids get home from school? How does an anxious person get ready and go to work? How does feeling stuck impact a person's work performance, intimate relationships, maybe their sense of purpose? So struggles really need to be detailed illustrations of day-to-day moments that would make up what we call healthy or unhealthy functioning. And you really cannot skip over these details or try to broaden it to suit a wider audience, because you end up shooting yourself in the foot when you do that. The riches are in the niches, my friend. Now, thirdly, do you have a clearly defined, concrete short-term goal and or goals, as well as long-term emotional goals for your client avatar? Now, most therapists, coaches, and healers are as vague about the benefits of their work as they are about the struggles and obstacles for their clients. And it could be because maybe they don't want to promise anything, or it could be because they struggle to make things measurable. I can't break down what I do into steps. It's just too organic and too experiential of a process. I'm sorry, but I'm going to call bullshit on that. You only know how to do what you do because someone else taught you how to do it step by step. So break down what you do and turn each step into a mini short-term goal. Then add them up to create bigger long-term goals. Once you're able to accomplish this, your clients will start to feel like they are getting somewhere, and then they can see their own progress. So for example, the bigger goal for this video series itself is to help you get more clients, cash flow, and freedom in your practice. So I'm appealing to your emotional, long-term, heartfelt desires for financial security and for freedom of choice in your life and in your career. Then I tell you that all of this is built on a foundation of soulful brand messaging, which it is. And this is something that you can take action on in the short term and start to see changes right away. So then I break that down step by step. And I can do that by telling you exactly what you're going to gain and accomplish in only 5 short videos. So you have a metric and you have a timeline. So let's go over those again. You're going to get a brand new About Me story for your website that clearly spells out your why, a clear and focused mission statement and elevator pitch for your brand and your services, a powerful hook and truth bomb that positions you in your market, a soulful sales script that has your ideal clients reaching for their wallets and fist pumping the air with a resounding yes. So spelling out the benefits is really all about how you are packaging your services as well as the outcomes of those goals. And we are going to be diving a lot more deeply into that throughout this video series. So that's the third question. This is the fourth one. Have you identified at least 1 or 2 misconceptions of your client avatar? So if people knew what their problems were and how to fix them, they wouldn't be looking for you or someone like you. And we struggle to fix our own problems because we often have a misconception about what our problem actually is or why it is that nothing we have tried so far has worked. So if you can show a potential client their most glaring misconception and convince them of how and why it's hindering their process and their progress, you will quickly go from being in debt to in demand. Now, the fifth question is, do you have a succinct description of how your work will debunk these misconceptions and affect transformational changes? So here, you really do not want to underestimate the power of the aha moment. And you want to make sure that your clients have it while they are perusing your online platform. So once you've identified your client avatar's most glaring misconceptions, you want to paint a very clear picture of how what you have to offer is going to make all the difference. So if your service is offbeat and not widely understood, this is where you're going to start dropping what I call truth bombs, okay, in your marketing copy. And that is to help educate while at the same time inspiring your ideal clients to see things your way. And not because you're trying to persuade or force someone to buy something from you that they wouldn't otherwise, but because on a heart-soul level, you know that what you are offering works. And you'd be doing them a disservice to undersell yourself and the experience that they could have if they decided to work with you. It's all about soulful selling, okay? Now, number 6. Do you have a qualifying question or statement on your website and other digital platforms or in your marketing copy that qualifies your audience? So for example, the qualifying question, it's really more of what allows your soul clients to self-select. It highlights their struggles in a nutshell and it asks them to consider their desires. So for example, this is a qualifying question for my online live group coaching program. It's called Hungry Love: From Ambivalence to Ascended Love in 6 months. So this is the qualifier for that group program of mine. Are you looking for a soul-shaking, passionate partnership, but find yourself trapped in roller coaster relationships with unhealthy partners that you just hate to love? Okay. So this is the formula for that. Are you looking for what is their desired outcome or benefit, but find yourself struggling with what is their obstacle or their pain point, the biggest one they have? You could also add an avoidance factor, particularly around a strong pain point. So for example, are you a woman, ages 35 to 40, who struggles with roller coaster relationships and wants to call in a soul-shaking, passionate partnership, all without having to talk in circles for hours or even years around your problems with no tangible result? Okay. So here's another one. Are you a coach struggling with a floundering practice that wants to make authentic connections with clients, expand your influence, and become a leader in your field, all without having to sell your soul or adopt salesy gimmicks? Here's another one. This is from someone who's in my program, The Abundant Healer, 90 Days to Scale Your Practice Online. Are you someone struggling with the death of a loved one and a desire to make meaning of the loss, let go of the grief, and recover your vitality again, all without having to rehash the past a million times over in talk therapy? Here's another one from someone in my program. Are you a female artist that is struggling with finding a sense of meaning and purpose and desire to move past your creative blocks, step into your power again, all without having to spend a ton of time, money on therapists and life coaches? Okay. And one more. Are you a woman with a history of trauma that is struggling with depression, anxiety, or low self-esteem who wants to sustain her personal boundaries, turn her creativity into her passion, and step fully into her power as a natural-born goddess, all without having to subject herself to the oppressive, toxic systems of male-dominated institutions? That's the righteous one. So those are examples of a qualifying question, and you need to have that somewhere at the very top of your website, your online platforms, your emails, any and all marketing copy. Okay, so question number 7. Do you have one clear hook and focus for your services and or your specializations? Now, a lot of therapists, coaches, and healers think that racking up a million certifications will make them appear more qualified and thus more appealing to a wider audience. But remember when I said the riches are in the niches? The truth is that too many certifications and specializations tends to communicate confusion and a lack of focus. You want to be seen as quote unquote an expert, or at least experienced in this person's or your client avatar's one biggest pain point. Okay, the one biggest pain point that your ideal clients are struggling with. You don't want to be seen as a jack of all trades. Okay, so think of it this way. When you have an injury or a severe illness, if you had a choice, would you go to a general practitioner or would you go to a specialist in that area of expertise? I think we all know the answer to that one. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to throw out all those hard-earned degrees and certificates or the money that you spent on them. All of that experience has culminated into this fantastic practitioner that you are, okay? That's something that you can weave into the work that you do. You can introduce it as a facet of what you will be working on together. But you just don't want to let that clutter up your marketing copy or dissuade someone from opting into your mailing list a second after they land on your page, okay? And so here's the last question that we are going to go over today. Have you outlined a clear brand mission and elevator pitch for your services? Okay. I want to just emphasize here, you do not need to have, quote unquote, a product before you do this. This is actually before you've created some kind of product, course, or something like that. This is what's going to help you identify the kind of services you want to offer. So it's more or less an elevator pitch. And so an elevator pitch is really an extension of that audience qualifier, and it gives just a smidgen more detail about what you do and how it's going to benefit your soul clients. Okay, so in the elevator pitch, you might also include struggles or the methods that you're going to use to help them solve their problems. So this is an example of an elevator pitch for the Abundant Healer program. I teach therapists, coaches, and healers how to create, launch, and scale an online practice in 90 days. Even if you have never made $1 online, created a single lesson, and or have no marketing list, all without having to waste a ton of time, money, and effort on experts and gurus or piecemealing a bunch of programs together. Okay. So this elevator pitch really needs to be at the top of your homepage of your website, on your sales pages, and I would say you should even have it memorized so that you can rattle it off the cuff at any and all conferences and networking events that you attend. Okay, so there you have it, 8 questions to assess your brand messaging, and I would love for you to let me know in the comments below, how did your brand messaging and platform fare? Okay, and if you feel like you might be missing a few of these pieces, then you are in the right place, because over the next four or five videos, we are going to be filling in the blanks. So you want to remember that you join us here next time on Tuesday next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join me on YouTube, or you can join me in my private Facebook group. And we are going to explore 4 story angles and determine why you do what you do, not just how you do it and what it is that you do. Because your why is the most important thing that you can come up with. That is what's going to sing straight to your soul clients' hearts. It really lays the foundation for your brand mission, also your unique hook, and ultimately creating a kick-ass client avatar. Okay. So if you've enjoyed this video, again, you can check it out. Next week, we're doing another one. You can also look at the transcript for this video on my blog, theabundanthealer.net/blog. Okay. And I hope to see you next week. Again, comment below, let me know how your branding message fared. And if there's any questions that you have that you would like me to comment on or respond to, you can always tag me at briannamcwilliam.com. Thank you so much.